Look at the device in your pocket. Right now, it is silently communicating with a constellation of nuclear-hardened military satellites flying 20,000 kilometers above your head. You use it to find a coffee shop or track a food delivery. But the system powering it, the Global Positioning System, or GPS, was designed for a terrifyingly different purpose: to guide intercontinental ballistic missiles with pinpoint accuracy during a global nuclear war. This is the story of how a top-secret weapon of the Cold War became the invisible backbone of modern civilization, and why, without the mind-bending physics of Albert Einstein, the map on your phone would lead you into the ocean. Welcome to the Tech Brief. The story begins in October 1957. The Soviet Union has just launched Sputnik 1, the first artificial Earth satellite. As it orbits, it emits a simple, continuous radio beep. Across the globe, American scientists at Johns Hopkins University are listening. They notice something fascinating: the Doppler effect. As Sputnik approaches them, the radio frequency gets higher. As it moves away, the frequency drops. By measuring this shift, the scientists realized they could pinpoint the exact orbit of the satellite from a known location on Earth. But then they flipped the idea upside down. What if you knew the exact orbit of the satellite? Could you use its radio signal to figure out your exact location on Earth? The United States military recognized the potential immediately. During the height of the Cold War, the Navy needed a way for their nuclear submarines to know their exact position while surfacing in the middle of the ocean, ensuring their missiles would hit their targets. This led to the transit system, and eventually the ultimate navigation grid, Navstar GPS. To understand the sheer engineering miracle of GPS, you have to understand how it actually works. It is not tracking you. Your phone is a passive receiver. Currently, there is a constellation of over 30 active GPS satellites enveloping the Earth. They're distributed so that from almost any point on the surface, your device has a direct line of sight to at least 4 of them. Each satellite does one very simple thing. It broadcasts its location and the exact time the signal was sent. That's it. It is essentially a multi-billion-dollar flying clock. When your phone receives the signal, it calculates the time difference between when the signal was transmitted and when it was received. Since radio waves travel at the speed of light, multiplying that time difference by the speed of light gives the exact distance to the satellite. If your phone knows it is exactly 20,000 kilometers from satellite A, it knows it must be somewhere on the surface of an imaginary sphere with a 20,000 kilometer radius around that satellite. Add satellite B, and those two spheres intersect to form a circle. Add satellite C, and the intersection narrows down to just 2 points. A fourth satellite locks in your exact 3-dimensional location: latitude, longitude, and altitude. This geometric process is called trilateration. But here's where the story gets strange. To make this work, the timing has to be flawless. A timing error of just 1/1,000,000th of a second would throw your location off by 300 meters. Therefore, every GPS satellite carries highly precise atomic clocks. But the engineers building the system ran into a massive problem, a problem predicted decades earlier by a patent clerk in Switzerland, Einstein. Einstein's theory of general relativity dictates that gravity bends the fabric of space and time. Because the satellites are 20,000 kilometers away from the Earth's center, they experience weaker gravity than we do on the surface. Consequently, their atomic clocks tick faster by about 45 microseconds per day. At the same time, Einstein's theory of special relativity states that time slows down for objects moving at high speeds. Since the satellites are hurtling through space at 14,000 kilometers per hour, their clocks lose 7 microseconds per day relative to clocks on Earth. When you subtract the 7 microseconds from the 45, you're left with a net gain of 38 microseconds every single day.
38 millionths of a second might sound like nothing, but at the speed of light, that tiny error translates to a distance of 11 kilometers. If GPS satellites did not have relativity-correcting algorithms hard-coded into their computers, the navigation system on your phone would drift by 11 kilometers per day. Within a week, it would be utterly useless. The entire system relies on the fact that time literally moves differently in space. For decades, this incredible technology was strictly military, but in September 1983, tragedy struck. Korean Airlines Flight 007 accidentally strayed into Soviet airspace due to a navigation error and was shot down. 269 people died. In response, President Ronald Reagan signed a directive making GPS available for civilian use once the system was fully completed, hoping to prevent such a disaster from ever happening again. Initially, the military intentionally degraded the civilian signal in a practice called selective availability, making it accurate to only about 100 meters. But in the year 2000, President Bill Clinton ordered this interference turned off. Overnight, civilian GPS accuracy jumped from 100 meters to under 5 meters. The world changed instantly. A technology designed to guide weapons gave birth to a billion-dollar civilian economy. Today, GPS is far more than just a map. It's the invisible heartbeat of the global economy. The atomic clocks on those satellites are used to timestamp high-frequency stock market trades. They synchronize cellular networks. They regulate the flow of electricity in global power grids. If the GPS constellation were to suddenly go offline, it wouldn't just be Uber drivers getting lost. Global supply chains would freeze. Financial markets would halt. Power grids could fail. Modern civilization is entirely dependent on a network of military satellites quietly broadcasting the time from the cold vacuum of space. It's the ultimate irony of the Cold War. The machine built to guide the apocalypse became the compass that guides the world. Subscribe to the Tech Brief for more cinematic deep dives into the hidden technologies and decisions that shape our modern reality. End of transmission.